In the summer of 1846, the 129 men of the Franklin expedition sailed into the Arctic feeling invincible. They believed they were months away from securing one of exploration's greatest prizes. This map shows the Northwest Passage, a theoretical sea route through the Arctic connecting Europe to Asia. For centuries, ships navigated these northern waters, attempting to bypass the massive continental landmasses. Franklin's crew believed they would finally finish the job. They were sailing the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, vessels representing the peak of Royal Navy engineering. They were equipped with advanced scientific instruments, like the brass navigational sextants you see here, representing months of rigorous preparation. Below deck, these ships functioned like self-sufficient fortresses. They had access to massive libraries, modern steam heating systems, and preserved food to last years. This extensive preparation created a fatal blind spot. The crew felt so insulated by their technology that they assumed they could simply out-engineer the most hostile environment on Earth. As they navigated the narrow, treacherous waterways surrounding King William Island, the temperature began to drop. The dark water around the hulls started crystallizing. Within days, the sea ice thickened and expanded, locking the two massive wooden ships tightly in place. This engraving illustrates what happened next. Massive, jagged blocks of ice pushing up against the tilted ships, completely dwarfing the men. Yet, the crew remained optimistic, treating the freeze as a standard, temporary Arctic delay that the summer thaw would eventually resolve. While the environment tightened its grip outside, life inside the ships carried on. The men waited for the ice to break by performing theater plays and reading books in the warmth of the lower decks. They didn't realize it, but their calm acceptance of the ice marked the exact moment the door to their frozen prison locked shut. The situation escalated as the deep Arctic winter set in. The sun dropped below the horizon and disappeared for the season. The men were plunged into a continuous 24-hour blackness. Days of darkness bled into weeks, and weeks stretched into months. Outside the wooden holes, there was an absolute absence of life. No animals, no movement, just a profound, oppressive silence that created a complete sensory vacuum. Without any external stimuli to ground them, the isolation began to take a heavy psychological toll. Standard winter boredom slowly turned into a deep, unshakable paranoia among the crew. The men spent their days struggling against the mounting mental weight of living in total, silent darkness. But while the men watched the frozen horizon, a different threat was growing inside the ship's hold. Take a look at these ration tins. The expedition relied on thousands of these cans for survival, but they harbored a deadly anomaly. The thick soldering along their edges was leaching lead directly into the food. These provisions were secretly poisoning them. At this point, the crew suspected nothing. The food appeared safe, the supplies were abundant, and they continued eating their daily rations. The expedition was unknowingly fighting a two-front war, one against the impenetrable ice outside, and another against a microscopic betrayer inside their own bodies. Months later, the long winter finally ended. As the sun returned the following summer, the crew anticipated their salvation and prepared to resume the mission. But then came a truly devastating discovery. The temperature never rose enough to melt the waterways. The seasonal thaw they had bet their lives on completely failed to arrive. The ice holding them captive was a permanent geographic feature. It was never going to let them go. Thousands of miles away, their families back in Britain were still waiting for letters, entirely unaware of the conditions unfolding in the Arctic. The mission to map the Northwest Passage ended here, as every ounce of energy remaining was diverted toward the single goal of survival. This diagram illustrates their isolation. They were a single dot trapped inside a massive, expanding boundary of permanent ice, completely cut off from the known world. With the brief summer over, the clock of another brutal, dark winter began. The cold and the lead poisoning had already weakened the men, leaving them with a shrinking window of time. Remaining aboard the Erebus and Terror guaranteed that they would either freeze or starve to death. If they wanted to live, they had to abandon the only shelter they had. The survivors were forced to walk away from their ships and step into the frozen unknown.
a decision that would lead to a mystery spanning over a century.